Well, just like how the title began by saying, the star in the startup, fame, fans, fortune. If I have to ask you to pick one, what will you pick? Fame, fans, or fortune?
I think they're all related and they somehow connect, but it depends which one you go for first, I think. I think that if you go for love and the fans, I think you're going for purpose, you're going for heart, and the others just follow. The other two will follow, I mean.
In the introduction I was talking about the best show and I couldn't complete it. I was so excited. But Samantha, I needed a lot more coffee this morning because I tried to binge watch the entire Citadel Honey Bunny. What a fantastic show. And what a performance as always. A huge round of applause, please. If you haven't watched
Absolutely.
it, you must watch the show. But I also found out that it was tough onboarding you onto that show, right? And I think it took some convincing and you needed to be persuaded. In hindsight now, do you think it was a good decision?
I didn't need to be persuaded. In fact, I was like over the moon, but conditions with
Yes.
my health
Yes.
prevented me from being... I didn't think I could do it because it was a serious condition and I just didn't think I could do it. But they didn't take no for an answer, and in retrospect, I am really grateful that they didn't take no for an answer.
So action is the way forward. You've done it in Family Man, you've done it here again. Is that the genre we should be associating with you?
I don't think so. I think that I'm open to any challenge, and this was a challenge that that really inspired me. I think that this is usually male actor playground and meant for the boys, but it's fun to play.
Absolutely. So Samantha, not many people know, but you've actually started your entrepreneurial journey. And Secret Alchemist is something that you're very passionate about as well. Tell us, from an actor to an entrepreneur, how did this journey really come about?
I think I will always be an actor and I will make decisions from the point of view of being an actor. And the decision to be an entrepreneur, I think it's also like, it's like a great plot twist, I think, to my life story. It just allows me to be in two worlds. One world is all about being in the moment and moment-to-moment presence, and the other world seems to be about now thinking 10 steps ahead and looking at the bigger picture. But I think that there is this amazing duality, and it is right now intense, and it's extremely exciting to be at this point in my life and to do things that I absolutely love. And I think that one complements the other.
Tell us more about your venture, and tell us what is your vision for that venture. What is the aim with which you're taking Secret Alchemist forward?
I think not just Secret Alchemist. I've invested in quite a few companies.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that being in front of the camera has really... I'm extremely grateful because it has prepared me in some ways to be an entrepreneur, because you're put in this position as an actor, playing a new role, forcing to adapt, forcing to pivot, to push through, and always staying in character. So I think that these are some of the things you learn being an actor, and you use that in selecting businesses that you use the same adaptability and the same hunger, the same resilience. So I think that it just was a natural transition to investing in businesses that truly mean the world to me.
You go on Instagram or any of the popular social media out there, Samantha, and there's people talking about scaling a brand, selling to more people. But as an actor, as a star, you have a very loyal community of people on your social media as well. How much has it helped really to leverage some of these brands?
I think people really look for authenticity. I think that this is the key. Whether you're playing a role, you're looking to speak truth, and when you're trying to sell a brand, you also have to have that. Each brand has to have that heartbeat, which needs to be heard loud and clear with every everything you say, everything you represent, it has to show through the brand. So I think that people are looking for authenticity, and they need to see that, and every brand that I associate myself with, it has to represent who I truly am. It has to be real, and has to be 100% me. So I think when people trust me, that translates to the brands that I have ventured into, and that partnership needs to be absolutely authentic. So I don't think that then that becomes quite easy.
But speaking of authenticity, it's interesting you say that, because you've been very vocal on social media over the years, and you've walked the talk, because you've dealt with trolls. You called them out when you had to. Been a social influencer for so many of us who've not been able to voice so many things that are said to deal with things on social media. Is that important as well, as a public figure, as an influencer, to be authentic to the point that you're defending a larger message?
I think all of us, we have the power to influence people. Some of us on a larger scale, some of us in our own homes. We always set the mood for those of us, for those of the other family members, say, if you're like from a family, even just your mood influences people and your family members around you, and who I am influences a large number of my followers. And I do believe that certain people have the ability to influence people towards love, towards hate. And there are unfortunately a large number of people who influence people towards hate. So it is very important for a certain number of us to try to influence people towards love and empathy. It is difficult. We often get trolled for being too transparent, for asking for... We're judged all the time, but I think it's very important that if you want to be responsible, and if you want to take up that mantle of trying to influence people towards positivity and love and empathy, it is your responsibility to do so. And I don't think that any of us now have a choice in the matter when we are given this incredible gift of being in the public eye.
Absolutely. So on that itself, Samantha, how do you really deal with the pressure of being an idol to so many millions of women, young girls out there? You've often talked about empowering young girls in various forums as well. So how do you really deal with that pressure?
I think that it's important to let people know that you do make mistakes, you have flaws of your own. I think the problem lies when you try to cover up all those flaws and cover up those mistakes and pretend to be perfect. I think that's when you find it extremely difficult to live up to the bar that you've set for yourself. So I think that when you're out there telling people, yes, I'm imperfect, it's pretty easy, right?
You don't usually get a plain Jane answer, Samantha, when you are at these conferences, and often from India Inc. as well, because there are straight-jacketed responses when you speak of the finance and the business world. We asked some of our lovely panelists about mentorship, and that's a solid facet of that side of the world. But in the entertainment industry, in the creative world, as a woman who's been breaking stereotypes, I'm going to phrase this in a couple of ways. How important is it to have that sort of mentorship? And more importantly, have you gotten the support that you craved for or you required?
Initially, no. I think that when you have a mentor, you probably don't make as much of the mistakes that if you didn't have a mentor. So I think the way I learned, and I would have probably reached where I am today much earlier if I had a mentor. And all I could do was look at the final films on screen, see what I was doing wrong, correct them, and that took a long time. So, yeah, 15 years later, I'm here.
Wonderful. Do you still feel there is a huge gap between the North and the South when it comes to the film industry? Are we doing enough to bridge that gap? What do you think needs to be done right there to project a one unified film fraternity for the outside world?
For example, in Citadel Honey Bunny, I speak English, Telugu and Hindi in one sentence. In one sentence, I speak 3 languages. So I think
the young kid also tells you At one point, she wants you to speak only in one language.
She's like, Mommy, can we speak one language today? So I think that there is, thanks to these questions that you asked, there is thought involved into how to bridge this gap faster, sooner, how to be more inclusive. I think that this is important dialogue, and this is popular dialogue now, and filmmakers are making conscious efforts to do so.
Another thing that I wanted to also get a sense on is like you're talking about a lot of ventures that you've invested in. Saki is a brand that you've invested in as well. Seema was there in the earlier panel and she was talking about how Zara is so popular. I want to understand from you, do you think Indian brands have enough to actually be seen as global brands in itself? Do you think you would want to take and scale up your brand to a scale that, globally it will be known and worn by a lot of people too?
I mean, wow, of course, let's dream it all. I come from such humble beginnings, like where I started in a small village, like not really a village, but it's Pallavaram in Chennai, and it's not even the city, and nobody ever left that little place. Nobody had big dreams. Nobody thought that they could get out. And I'm sitting here today talking about my business ventures. So I dared to dream, and I will dream that big as well.
Okay, wonderful.
But also, you spoke about challenging and breaking stereotypes. Being iconoclastic, sometimes these things are easier said than done. But you've managed to do that with, like you said, no real mentor at the start of your career. And now, since we spoke about your roles in action flicks, that, like you said, is a boy's world, right? Is that something that you think of consciously, saying, I have to do this? Because you have a public image to maintain. Or is that something that just comes naturally and you're, like you said, walking the talk, being your authentic self?
Yeah, when I speak about authenticity, it needs to translate into everything I do. I feel very responsible when I pick the roles that I need to play, and I feel that it needs to be a fair representation of women in society today. More often than not, there is a false representation of women in film, because mostly women on film, the roles are defined by the male actor or the male protagonist in the film, and not really the woman's journey and her strengths, her weaknesses, but she's mostly defined by her relationships, not by her life experience. So I think that I have made a conscious decision to pick roles that fairly represent women in society today.
But can I ask you...
As well as the brands that I pick.
Yes,
exactly,
of course.
I was about
Consistency. But I'm saying, do you think that's changing though? That narrative is changing? It's 2024. We speak of so many modern trends and values and ethics. Is that changing now?
Sorry that I'm going to have to come back to Honey Bunny, Citadel Honey Bunny often. So in an action... usually in an action film or a series, you have the male protagonist and you have him use a bunch of sleek guns and doing a lot of slick action and saving the day, mouthing all the important dialogues and protecting the woman and saving the day, literally. This is how it's usually done. And Citadel Honey Bunny has me throwing equal punches, taking equal punches, saving the day as much as the hero is, and just being given an absolutely equal playing field in an action genre, which is hardly ever the case. So, yeah, we are moving forward, and it is important. But having said that, the number of roles that I am offered and the number of projects that I'm doing have now become so far apart simply because of this conscious decision to stay away from the flower pot roles.
Yeah, absolutely. So how difficult is it to also pick businesses to invest? You did talk about how difficult is it for you to pick up scripts, the right scripts where you are represented perfectly. How do you really, as a businesswoman, decide which are the businesses to invest in?
I'm not sure if this is going to go down very well with the business savvy minded, but I actually pick businesses.
There's none of them in this room. Don't worry about it at all.
I actually pick businesses from the heart. you know, whether it's wellness, whether it's education, whether it's sustainable products. I'm very ambitious. Yes, I am very ambitious. But for me, ambition has to be tied in purpose. It has to enhance the well-being of people around me. It has to have a positive impact on the people around me. So every business that I have invested in has been in wellness, in education, in sustainable products, in health. And that's how I know. And I'm hoping and praying that, yes, it will be profitable and sustainable for those involved. But I think that I will always choose brands with purpose.
That's wonderful to hear. Since you're talking so much about wellness, and that's your passion as well, and your fitness, I'm sure all these people out there, including me, we always struggle to stay fit, and we would love to hear from you. If you could share a fitness mantra, what is your fitness routine like? Something that we can copy and perhaps be a 1% of what you are?
I have a podcast. I think you should tune into my podcast.
I know, sales. Sales.
While
We've
I'm
been
on
talking
the stage,
everything about sales. Everybody's talking about
While I'm on the stage, let me sell everything.
No. Give me, for the live audience, something.
I mean, there is literally a 30-second reel of it.
She's not giving it away absolutely at all.
Go and press that subscribe button.
We'll hit the bell icon as well. But tell me something, Samantha, is it, when you're talking about something very interesting you said, which just stayed with me already, is that you came from a smaller town. And now when you've achieved all this fame, all this success, big star actor, influencer, entrepreneur, how do people back home react now when you've shattered so many ceilings? I mean, I'm sure they're proud, but what is it like in terms of how you've grown, you've changed, you've evolved?
You haven't met my father. My father. When I was in school, I was always first in class, and my father would say, "This is the standard of Indian education. Even you can get a first rank." So yeah, that's my father. But I think that's what pushed me. That's what really made me angry and really resilient. Indian parents do what Indian parents do, and this is how they know how to do it. But, long story short, because of what he did, I am a success story, I guess.
Wonderful. Do you also have any role models who you really follow, who probably got that resilience ingrained in you?
I mean, there are too many to count, but for me, my role models have always been not so much the people who made a ton of money, but people who were pioneers, who were the first movers, who took those risks and broke barriers. And I think there are so many of them, like, I guess, Oprah, and in India, maybe like even Ritu Kumar, Shehnaz Hussain. They were all first movers,
yes,
pioneers. And I think that the most amazing role models, yeah.
Since we have a lot more time,
yes,
Samantha, we're very lucky. So for all the Citadel fans,
Should I speak slower?
We'll speak slower, we'll reduce the speed, we will elaborate. No long stories short. You've got to go as circuitous and long as you can. But I do have a question. I remember there was this interesting post where you had the Citadel multiverse together with you, Priyanka. The three of you all were in a photo. So what was that meeting all about? Were you guys sharing some sort of nuggets of information from the show?
It was, I think Jennifer Salke, the head of Amazon, she had this brilliant idea to create this interconnected spy world, and to bring, I think the first season is the US, the second season is Italy, the third season is India, the fourth season is Mexico. So this is a brilliant idea, and this is an incredible opportunity for us all to actually be connected to a global spy universe without even having to leave our country. And I think that this has never been done before. So the press junket in London, where we met where I got to meet the Italian actress Matilda and Priyanka Chopra, was truly amazing. It was called the Women of Citadel, and and I think that Priyanka Chopra herself is a great role model for all of us girls, and she really teaches us to think big, and it was really nice to catch up with these two girls who are powerhouses and incredibly talented and have done incredible work in Citadel, in their own versions of Citadel. So it was really, really great catching up. And I think that it's also a time where women are supporting women, and this community of women supporting women is growing larger and larger and stronger, and I absolutely am here for it.
Absolutely, and this is the best platform to be talking about it as well. Tell us, what are you excited about next? We are already seeing you flourish in the silver screen. We are already seeing you go after building fortunes with building businesses. Tell us what's next.
I actually took a 1-year break because of my health condition, but thinking back, that 1-year break really changed me. And while I had I had tunnel vision when it came to just my acting profession, this 1 year opened out a lot of restrictions that I had on myself, and I'm a lot more open to change now. And I think that now that I'm back, I just started filming last month after a 1-year break. It's just a whole new world for me, and I'm feeling extremely blessed and grateful to be back at work, and also to as much effort and love that I put into my craft, I am now putting into all of the ventures that I have invested in. So it is an incredible time, a foot in two worlds.
I did a quick dipstick survey in the last session, and I asked everyone whether they think women make better multitaskers than men. And that was a resounding yes, and that was a leading question. I'm sorry, I was a lawyer in a previous life. But if I ask you that, how do you manage your time? I'm going to keep it very simple, because you don so many hats. You're back to acting, you've invested in these ventures, you're on social media, you're speaking about social causes. Do you apportion your time? What's the secret sauce?
Yeah, we are unbelievable multitaskers. Sure. I'll take that first. But I also have incredible people around me. And I do believe that I am what I am today simply because of the people who propped me up to be here. I take incredible pride in being surrounded by the most warm, and they're all visionaries themselves. So I think that I'm ably helped, propped, and I've also understood now with time that I work smarter and rest harder. So I'm ready for the challenge.
Ready for the challenge right there. You did talk about Priyanka Chopra, so I have to talk to you about the Hollywood as well. Are you really interested in making yourself being seen in Hollywood as well, making it big there? Do you think you would want to see yourself in that space?
I think it's a great time to be an actor right now. There is inclusivity. There is inclusivity being spoken about in every room that I'm in. So I don't think that it's now too far from reality.
From Mumbai to Los Angeles or Bombay to LA, everyone's been talking about, that's a nice name for a movie, I'm just saying. But I'm saying, Samantha, if we consider what's happening with scripts, Sakshi spoke about, working in Bollywood, working in the South, but all of us here in Mumbai and even up north in the rest of the country are fascinated by some of the scripts coming out of the South and the overall magnum opus productions that they turn out to be. Do you finally think it's the right time for South Indian cinema, because it's finally being seen, being recognized, in fact, all over the world, not just in India? Right. Why did it take so long?
Actually, I haven't thought about this. Why did it take so long? I think I think that South Indians might be great filmmakers but might not be great at marketing. I think that might have been the reason, yeah. And Rajamouli sir, I think with Bahubali really opened up. I think for the first time he thought about, let's see, I think that this film has wings, and I'm really glad that he thought that, because he really opened the gates.
Yeah,
absolutely. Do you see some of these films getting remade for other languages as well internationally? Do you think that should happen now?
I don't think anything is impossible now.
Okay. What else is exciting you apart from businesses and films? Are you also looking at being seen behind the camera? A lot of women actors are doing that.
Oh, yes, I have recently turned producer as well.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I mean,
How many hats do you don?
yeah. I recently turned producer because I've realized that I've been an actor for a very long time. I mean, 15 years is a very long time. And I've realized that to truly drive change, you have to be behind the scenes. More often than not, we complain about things, but we don't really do anything actively about it. And I think that by being a producer, I get to change the narrative, to pick better scripts, to hire more female technicians, and to truly be part of the change that you want to see. I think it's time we get our hands dirty and actually walk the talk. So I think that was the reason why I turned producer, and some of the projects that I'm producing will be releasing very soon.
Wonderful. What kind of stories would you really like to put your money behind?
What do you think?
I was just testing waters whether you will open up, but yes.
But speaking of storytelling, Samantha, I find fascinating that you've done some great work with Raj and DK. I think there's a certain style of cinematography, screenplay that comes with their work. And we saw it in Family Man as well. And that was a very different Samantha that we all saw. Did it take a lot of work to prep for that role and to really adjust to their style of cinema?
Yes, definitely, because they have a very unique style, Raj and DK, and it is every actor's dream to be part of their productions right now, because they truly have a very distinct style, and they offer the actor truly a chance to act. And I think that I'm doing some of the best work in my life with them, and I am at a great place, and I'm doing my next project as well with them. So every challenge keeps getting bigger with them, and I think that it did take a little bit of getting used to, because they are hard taskmasters. But now I wouldn't have it any other way.
So quick follow-up question. I sense something there. Actors aren't acting, or they don't get a chance to act, is it?
You were looking for something.
Yes.
You were like,
You guessed it.
I think that's why they give
and
us
it
more
feels
time.
like
Samantha.
both of you
Yes.
are like, like, it's like, I'm feeling a bit, okay. Sorry, what did you
No,
say?
Okay, let me rephrase that. Actors, not necessarily acting. We're seeing so many...
So many of the things they're doing is doing in their sleep, right? I mean, let's be honest. It's not very often that you get challenges. So when you're working on a Raj and DK project, be ready for a challenge. Yeah.
We can't let you go before...
I say something controversial.
We're synced up with Bluetooth just to make sure we...
Before hearing that one dialogue from Pushpa, maybe in your own style.
Me, I didn't say any dialogues. I did something else.
I'm open to both as well. So whatever you would choose, we have the music ready.
No way in hell. That was a phase of my life, and that was 2 years back, and that was something I had to do just for myself, because I was the quintessential, the girl next door and the cutesy. I never played sexy, never thought I was sexy.
Yes.
So this was something that I had to do for myself, and I did it, and that's done.
Okay, well, it's been fabulous.
Thank you
to
so
speak
much.
to you, Samantha, and I wish you all the very best for all the upcoming ventures and all the newer adventures that you're doing behind the camera, in front of the camera as well. And I hope that you continue to soar in all walks of your life, and we keep seeing you on various platforms on Business Today.
Thank you.
A huge round of applause, please, for Samantha Ruth Prabhu.
All right, we will just hold you back for 3 seconds. We will have Alok Nair, the CEO.